Today may be the most interesting and possibly unusual of all 273 days. What do you think, Jill?
Well, yeah, I want people to have fun. I want people to explore possibilities and see, what is possible, and something where you can explore your own creativity.
So what are you going to do, Jill? This is, by the way, this is Jill Basham. Welcome.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is start with a blank canvas. And actually, to keep myself interested, I like to come from the perspective oftentimes of just starting with the paint and exploring shapes, and then taking those shapes into something that's more realistic, and it then becomes a landscape. But I'm not quite sure where it's going.
When I was a kid, you just reminded me of something I haven't thought of for 3,000 years. And that was, and I was a kid, I remember watching a television show. I don't know if it was local or national, but there was a whiteboard or a flip sheet. And the guy said, okay, write 3 or 4 numbers on it. And then he went up and took those 3 or 4 numbers using the shapes and made it into a scene or a person or something. So what we're going to do is kind of similar to that, except you're just going to put blobs of paint out and see what happens, right?
Sort of, yes. And you know what, Eric, that's actually reminds me of something I did when I was a kid also. I would, we didn't have iPads to take to restaurants. We had the napkins and pens. And honestly, we would take turns sketching, and then the other person would finish it, and it would become something. And it was a fun game. And I think it really does open ideas up for people.
What a great idea. Well, this is going to be fun. Well, Jill, we're going to take a quick break, make a couple of announcements, and then you can get all set up and we'll be right back.
Sounds good, Eric. Thanks.
All right. Terrific. Our guest today is Jill Basham. And just so you can see, I'll just show you a little bit of her work just to show you that she's got the chops. I mean, look at this beautiful work, just unbelievable energy and brush work. And oh, wow, that's stunning. Very, very interesting. We're going to find out all about this. Okay, so you're going to meet Jill Basham and get a little bit of fun today, so it'll be interesting. I'm Eric Rhoads, publisher of Fine Art Connoisseur, Plein Air Magazine, and head of Streamline Art. Like we say, I'm Walt, and we're Disneyland for artists. I'm probably not allowed to say that. I don't know. I'll probably get busted. They'll throw me in copyright jail or something. Don't turn me in. Okay. We're here every day. We've been here every day. This is day number 273. The goal has been and continues to be keep you happy, keep you upbeat, feeling good in spite of the virus, in spite of everything that's going on. The year 2020 will go down in history, at least for each of us, as a year that we probably don't want to repeat. Although from 2020, I don't know about you, but there are some good things that have happened. There's a lot of bad things that have happened to others and to all of us, but we also probably have found some silver linings in those clouds, hopefully. And so let's look to the positives and stay positive. Prizes. We have prizes. The way we win prizes in this place, we don't even have a name for this show. We probably need to have a name the show contest. Maybe you can put your ideas in the comments. I was thinking about, Art School Live or something like that. Anyway, we need a name. Anyway, every day we give away prizes. We grab people who make comments. We're in multiple platforms. So we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, etc. And so we look at all the comments after the replays. We grab someone and we give them a prize. And today is no different. Today, the winner of a digital subscription to Plein Air Magazine and Fine Art Connoisseur, yes, two gifts, is Yami Chacan Solano from Costa Rica. All right. We need to do a little Costa Rica dancing. Don't get me dancing. That's probably the worst possible experience you could ever watch. All right. So today we're giving away an easel brush clip from easelbrushclip.com. You clip it on your easel. Your brushes are right there at eye level. Actually, I could probably show you one. And that way they don't fall on the ground. They're easy to find. I have a big thing of brushes. As a matter of fact, I could probably show you. Let's see here. I'm in my studio. So back there, I have a big thing of brushes, but I also have an easel brush clip. So when I'm painting something, I pull out the brushes that I want, so I'm not constantly sorting through everything and trying to find them. So anyway, the easel brush clip is something you could win, and you can win it today just by leaving a comment in the comments section. All right. What else do we have? Well, there's lots and lots of stuff going on. Well, Christmas is just right around the corner, of course. And I guess I probably should consider starting my Christmas shopping. Just saying. I'm always a last minute guy. And I will go to the mall one time a year. And it's usually at Christmas time. And it's something I don't like doing. Don't like the mall at all. I like shopping, actually. I'm one of the few guys that likes to shop, but I just don't like shopping in malls. Unless it's the Apple store. I like to go to the Apple store. All right. So here's what's going on around here. First off, we have the Plein Air podcast, a new one coming out this week. You can find that on our newsletter, outdoorpainter.com. Comes out every week, or our website. And we interview various artists, and we have, I think, our 200th episode right around the corner. Also do the Art Marketing Minute podcast, and that's proven techniques for turning your passion into profit. I have a book that does the same thing. If you're thinking about your career in 2021, if you're thinking about that and how do you make it better, a good place to start is that book. I've also got a series of videos if you're interested in that, but that's kind of the book is where you go. We have so many different things. I talked about Disneyland, right? So we have lots of things. If you want to find all of that, go to streamlinepublishing.com, everything, and you'll see all the different goodies that we create, things like aprons and brush clips and books and videos. The magazine, Plein Air Magazine, is the #1 selling art magazine in America. It's at Barnes & Noble nationally, and #1 selling in Barnes & Noble, and now in Michael's stores. And so the digital edition of the magazine has 20% more content, more images, more stories, and that way we give you a little reward for the digital. Most people get both. Coming up, special Sunday coffee. It's coming. It's on Sundays every Sunday morning. coffeewitheric.com. Just go there and subscribe. We're getting down to the wire on the Russia trip. You know, with Christmas, maybe some last minute gift giving. It's an expensive trip for many, but it's going to be the trip of a lifetime. And that I think we're down to very few seats left. Maybe 8 or 9, probably. Anyway, paintrussia.com. We are going to Colorado for the Plein Air Convention in May. Just go to pleinairconvention.com to learn about that. And I want to just mention that we have a publication called American Watercolor. If you're a watercolorist, you want to subscribe for free at americanwatercolor.net. We're here every day at 12 noon, and you'll find us on Facebook or YouTube. If you're coming in for the first time, just search Streamline Art, and you'll find us. And if you want to get all 273 days times 2, go to YouTube. That's where they all live. And if you hit the subscribe button, you'll have access to everything. And by the way, every day at 3 p.m., we do another broadcast, right? I'm on at noon, and then at 3 p.m., we have an art instruction video sample for you. Today will be Thomas Jefferson Kitts, and it's called Soroya. And it's really interesting, the process he went through to do this painting. It's one of our top selling videos, but he brought a model in to basically to photograph, and then he built this based on that. So it's from the video Soroya, and we always give a discount on the video the day that we're airing it. So that's an opportunity for you to get a little break. It's something we came up with for COVID because, quite frankly, we needed some help. The artists needed some help. You needed some help. So that's going to be today. You also can see his one on Sargent Techniques of a Master at some point if you're interested in that. Last but not least, we have an event called Watercolor Live. And Watercolor Live is coming up in January, late January. And it is a world-class group of artists. It's going to be pretty amazing. We have some of the best artists in the world teaching watercolor, including a beginner's day for those of you who are beginners like me. And I'm gonna be really into this because I need to take watercolor with me part of the time when I can't take my oils, and so I want to get good at it. Sargent was a great watercolorist, and so actually I talked to Sargent's nephew. I wrote something about it recently. His grandnephew, Richard Ormond, who told me that watercolor was Sargent's true passion, that he was so tired of doing portraits that he did watercolor and he refused to sell his watercolors in the beginning because he just wanted to hang on to them because they were very important to him. So Watercolor Live coming up, just go to watercolorlive.com. But now we got to get to the fun, and the fun is finding out what kind of crazy, silly things Jill has for us today.
It is fun too, and I found, for myself, I can get bored sometimes with the process or trying to stay within a mold, and I might have a little bit of ADD. I don't know, but I like to approach things differently. So when someone says, "Well, how do you do this?" and I say, "Well, it depends on the day or how I would like to approach it." Anyway, I like a challenge. And so I'm going to challenge myself live on television right now on Facebook. And,
well, no pressure. I mean, there's only tens of thousands of people will see this in the replays.
So, I ordered some canvases from Blick. I typically like to work on linen, but that didn't come in. So I gessoed a wood panel, and I gessoed it differently than I've ever gessoed it before. So I'm putting a lot of obstacles in my path, but I kind of like it.
All right. Blick, by the way, is they're not a sponsor of this show, but they're becoming a sponsor of our podcast and a big sponsor at Plein Air Convention and throughout the Plein Air magazine. And it's a great resource if you're looking for art supplies online. It's blick.com.
So what I'm going to do is actually what we talked about before, which is start in with a shape and not actually know what direction I'm going. There's certain landscapes that attract me and that I have in my memory bank. So I love oceans, mountains, and if you go to my website, you can see I obviously like clouds. So anyway, once I start, and this is what I might typically do, it's not just a fun exercise, which I encourage you all to do and try, but it's something that I do almost on a regular basis in my studio. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start. And like I said, I'm not looking at a photo reference. I'm just using, first off, my abstract design, and then going in and getting a little bit of detail.
All right. Let's get started. This is fun. Can you, by the way, real quickly, is your palette something you can hold up so they can see it?
Sure.
Everybody likes to know about brushes and colors and panels.
Well, one thing with me is I am a messy painter, so I prefer to have.
Can you hold it up where we can see it? There we go.
I prefer to have disposable palette papers, and I think this is called gray matters. But anyway, so I have a titanium zinc white, a cool lemon yellow, medium cad yellow, Indian yellow, which I have a fascination with right now, cad red light, alizarin crimson, a yellow ochre. And I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's asphaltum. Okay. A cerulean blue and an ultramarine blue. And then this is a Galkid gel by Gamblin. It comes in a tube. I think that's, and I've started pre-mixing a color, and this is obviously a very dark value, and I'm going to start laying that onto my panel and see what happens. I'm
going to teach you a trick.
Okay.
All right. You're gonna love this trick. You will never be able to live without this trick ever again. All right. You ready? So the problem that you just had on your palette where the where the paper flew down, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're mixing with a paper palette, the paper will move or something, and that's a problem. And I use paper palette exclusively too. I didn't used to, because somebody said, "Oh, professionals don't do that." But then when I saw Joe McGurl do it, I figured it was okay. But I always have that problem, or if I'm out plein air painting, the wind will blow and it'll go. So I buy them in bulk, and I take them to the Kinko's or not Kinko's anymore, FedEx office, and they have what they call padding paste. It's what they put on the end of paper to make it into a pad. I have them pad 3 of the 4 sides, and it's already padded on one side, so I'm adding 2 more sides. And that way, when the wind hits it or anything happens, it doesn't blow.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You can actually buy, I used to be a printer, so you can buy a little jar of padding paste and just do it yourself.
That's a great idea. Well, I've been using painter's tape, just, when on a windy day when I'm plein air painting. And that really doesn't do a fantastic job. It sort of just gets me by, but your ideas are really great. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Let's get started.
Okay. So, I tend to be a fast painter, and I think you might call it more intuitive painting oftentimes. So I really dive right in. Of course,
you're thinning your paint with Gamsol or something?
I am. It is Gamsol. Yeah. And, design is one of my loves. I love a wonderful design in a painting. So when I'm laying in, I'm thinking about that. I'm not necessarily right now thinking about what it is, but I am thinking about the design itself. And this is fun. And it's sort of letting yourself go, allowing yourself not to have that, I must do this and I must copy this photo and it needs to be, a certain way. I think this opens windows to creativity that maybe you don't realize that you have. And it's really going back to childhood and letting yourself be that child. And that's fun for me.
What would be a really interesting challenge now would be to turn it completely upside down.
Exactly. Actually, let's do that.
All right. Okay.
That's what I do. I mean, that's actually my day in the studio.
Really? Don't get paint on that beautiful blue sweater.
It already has paint on it, Eric. All my clothes have paint.
Yeah. My wife says you have 2 kinds of clothes that have paint on it and clothes that are about to have paint on it.
Okay, so, I might have had a preconceived notion of maybe where I was going once I started to lay in that shape. But now I'm seeing other possibilities. So let's see.
I just really screwed you up when I did that, because now that darkness, that'd be tough to make it a sky, wouldn't it?
No, not at all. No. If you go through my website, you'll notice that I appreciate a stormy sky and nocturnes. So it's actually, I love that. I love that challenge. I'm glad you asked me to turn it upside down. And I employ paper towels a lot.
You're like me. You use the blue industrial.
The what?
The blue paper towels. I love them.
Yes, yeah. There's nothing like what is it? Bob Ross used to say. Happy accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's truth in that. And so I'm taking away in certain spots now. And you can take your paper towel and actually, if you press it lightly, you can make on that thin. I do appreciate tonalism. I'm not sure that I don't necessarily fit into the mold of being a strict tonalist, but I definitely appreciate that aspect of art. And already for me, I'm seeing a stormy sky. I live near the Chesapeake Bay. So near the bay, there's a lot of marshes and that low horizon line with the sky above. And I can, for me, I'm starting to see that. And I think also this allows an artist to explore their emotional qualities in their work. Really, I do plein air painting, obviously, but I enjoy the idea of then taking those memories of being out at certain spots and then taking it into the studio and seeing where I can take. And I would say that what happens is, it's sort of like sifting the emotions of the scene that I've seen into onto canvas. So I think what happens is you leave behind all of the details that maybe you didn't need to begin with, and you leave the emotional quality of what you're painting behind. And values, I'm trying to express values here. So I didn't know I was going to do a marsh painting, Eric.
Well, I didn't either. Never in 1,000 years would I have thought of a marsh painting.
Well, like I said, I do live near the bay, so that is a constant inspiration for me. But I also love to travel, and I just got back from Texas not too long ago.
Where'd you go?
San Angelo. So I guess you'd call it central or western.
Oh, were you a part of that plein air group there? That event?
That's where I was. Yes.
That's a great show. I understand.
Yes, in plein air, Texas. Yeah, and they had it going this year, which was remarkable, I think, and they did a good job of social distancing. And
nobody died. That's good.
Nobody died. No, and it was really great. Yes, where I live, you have that broad horizon line that you can see for miles. And so I think that's what attracts me to a cloudscape, is because I can see that. But where I'm going, I think, is showing the idea of a distant tree line, the marsh coming along. And there again, I'm thinking about, while I'm doing this, I'm thinking about values, thinking about, as I said, design, the flow of the eye, and how this can work. Because you maybe turn it upside down.
I didn't make you. I just want to make it's for the record. I didn't make you. I just suggested it.
It was no. It was.
So if you screw it up, it's all on you.
It's all on you. Well, you know what I'm going to do is just show you all my successful paintings after this.
All right, that works.
I think, like I said, I really do encourage others to give it a go. There's really, you can fail for sure, and I think I fail frequently, but I actually encourage failure, and because I think you grow and you learn from your failures just as much, or if not more, than your successes. So I'm willing to fail for all of you all.
Thank you.
You're
Well, you have a lot of guts.
I don't know if it's guts. But yeah, no, it's actually not guts. I think actually it's just, it's pushing away from all that stuff that I think we as adults carry with us, and get that horrible word of fear. We get afraid to try things. I'm just encouraging everyone else to go ahead and give things a try. You don't know until you've tried. So we have this sort of here, we have a distant tree line and the marshscape coming in. And, you know, I might start adding some color.
Are we having fun yet? I think so.
We are having fun.
People seem to be digging it.
What's that?
People are digging it.
Oh, good.
And is that just a paintbrush from the hardware store?
It absolutely is, yes.
You changed brushes because you're dipping into the white.
I am, yeah. And I don't even mind. I mean, if it starts dripping, I'm still pretty thin here. You know, that's okay. I can retrieve it. And that's the thing. I think there's a tendency for artists to almost be too precious, depending on what they're doing. And I think it's important to try to let some of that preciousness go. At least to have fun in the studio. I also encourage taking drawing classes. I think that's a good foundation for painting. I think no matter where you want to go with your painting, even if it's more abstract, I think it's important to have a solid foundation in drawing. So I think what I'm doing here is creating, I love atmosphere. And so what I'm trying to do is create the sense of depth and atmosphere in this. And obviously, what are we, like 10 minutes in at this point?
Yeah, you got another 20 to 25 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So I have time, but there's something about the immediacy of working quickly to create a design that can really, honestly, I think it can work if you think almost more right brain than left brain with this. But like I said, sometimes it can absolutely fail. But that's okay. Still working with the big brushes, and I think that that's a good way to start, is starting with the big brushes, starting with thinner washes, and then moving on to smaller brushes. But did you have any questions for me, Eric?
Yeah, what the heck are you painting now? It's going to be a tree?
No, it's a sky.
Ah.
Oh, the tree line. Yes, a distant tree line. Yeah.
Oh, that's the tree line in the back. Okay.
Yes. You don't see, Eric?
Yeah, it looks more like mountains to me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, this is mountains.
No, the way distant mountains. Yeah.
Oh, see, that's the thing. And that's why I love doing this exercise, just because, you know, you can see different things in it. And even if I flipped it over again, you know, I might see another possibility that I had, you know. And this is another thing I like to do, which is sort of dragging the paint as it's drying across and sort of taking away rather than adding. Or, you know, actually, you know, there's nothing wrong with destroying destroying what you already have in order to rebuild again. Okay. I tend to like a limited palette. Although what I showed you was quite a few colors of cool and warms of each primary color, I do appreciate almost a monochromatic painting as well. So this is my water here that I'm having, and the water reflects the sky.
Okay.
Here.
All right.
And I'll have that lead back. And I think part of the problem people run into with water as it recedes is it's not laying flat. And so that's something that can be tricky. And it's a matter of almost having more land coming together than what they think. So you express a mid-ground here, and then you might have a distant water line. Here. And then the foreground water, which isn't reflecting as much.
Somebody along the way told me that that it's very important. The temptation is to put that water in at an angle in the distance, even though that may be what you're seeing. But if it's not laying pretty much straight horizontally, it won't read like water. Do you find that to be true?
I do find that to be true. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's flatter than what people would imagine as far as the angles. So I've got a sort of a gray, cloudy day, and I think what I'll do is have a little bit of light peeping through the bottom here, a little bit of warmth.
What kind of brush is that?
It's a flat, let's see, it's Princeton flat long, and
Okay.
it's a 10.
All right.
I like it. But also, I'm not, necessarily beholden to, a specific type of brushes. And I don't think, if you're listening, that it's necessary to follow a specific regimen of anything. And I think that that's sort of why I decided to do what I'm doing today, is because I want to encourage people to try different brushes, try different surfaces. Just come at your studio or come into your studio as if it's almost like a laboratory where you're experimenting. And I think, you will fail. You'll fail a lot, but you'll also have some successes or some revelations for future work. And I think it just promotes growth, honestly.
Yeah, well, that's the old joke, and it's how do you spell growth? Failure. FAI.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
if people would learn to embrace their failures, they would be a lot less frustrated.
I agree. And oftentimes the sky color is reflected in the ground plane, and obviously in the water itself too. think that's important to remember. I think artists can get too wrapped up into making pretty colors, and maybe, you know, the best thing actually is to simplify and not have so many colors, and have those colors integrated in both your sky and in your ground plane. And I guess maybe that's where the tonalism comes in.
Yeah. Well, we all need to learn to paint monochrome paintings
Right.
almost before we learn to bring out color. That's when I teach in my paint by note system. That's what I say is you know, learn to paint. It takes to put color puts a lot of pressure on. And even though that's the jewel and the fun stuff,
Right.
if you don't learn to paint in a monochrome, it's going to make things a lot more difficult.
Right. The other thing is, and I've had to learn this the hard way, is that, you know, I'm one for the frosting, so to speak. I love it when, you know, the magic happens, and, you know, especially when I'm doing a demo, you know, I want to show everybody, oh, well, this is how the magic happens. But honestly, that takes time, and you can't throw in those, that magic, which might be the lightest lights, until the very end, and you have to resist doing that. So, you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. So, also, you know, for me, I like indications of what things are, but I really resist trying to be too literal. I like leaving things unsaid a bit, and I like it when viewers can take a look at my work and maybe question things or say, okay, well, what's going on here? Although I do respect highly rendered work, it's just not my nature, and I recognize that. I like to, you know, try to express the foreground, the area closest, and then sort of the midground, as well as the background in my landform. And I think that helps to show distance. And as you know, you may know this, but my rule of thumb is the closer the landmass, typically the warmer it is. And as it recedes, it gets cooler. And also grayer and lighter as it recedes.
So somebody should put that in the comments. Warmer, closer, warmer.
Typically, yeah.
And what'd you say about grayer?
Grayer and lighter. Bluer,
grayer and lighter.
Cooler, lighter. So that's a lot, isn't it?
And probably and less yellow.
Right. Of course, yes. Yellow drops out. You know, I love plein air painting, but I think during COVID, it's given me time to do more studio painting. It seems like I'm not sure why that is, because I could go out there, but I really am enjoying this, the time in the studio just to explore.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are having a lot of fun.
Okay, maybe I'll try to show you or express, you know, the layers and the clouds above.
Okay.
And obviously this is something that I'm not going to necessarily be finished with this after we talk. I'll work on it some more and see where it goes. I'm kind of liking the direction that it is right now. And lately I have been doing a lot of work where it's on and off the easel quite a bit. And I think it's because I'm harder on myself now. I don't know if you find that as you learn more, you tend to get more critical of your own work.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't feel like
You know,
I'm
anytime you experience growth, you see new things in your work that are problematic,
right.
and you have to struggle to get through them.
Right. Well, I'm kind of liking the surface. I've never brushed on the gesso like I did, prior to this broadcast. So it's interesting to see how that's working. And I'm thinking as I'm doing these brush strokes and blending about design. So my idea is to have it leading in this water. And then coming across here, this is sort of the window up, and I might have some cloud forms here. And then I would sort of like to lead the eye.
All right. Well, you've got 15 minutes to pull it off.
Okay. Well,
Actually, I'm not sure that's right. You got, yeah, you got 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, you've got diagonals, and diagonals are important in your composition.
Why?
It creates a certain sense of energy for your eye, a person's eye to follow through the painting, and excitement, whereas flat lines tend to, calm things down, but also it potentially might flatten it so much that it might not be that interesting.
Well, what I like about this is that you've got the peace in the lower third, and then you've got chaos up above.
Isn't that life? Yeah. Well, don't put it past me to have a dramatic sky, because I definitely am prone to my stormy skies.
Hey, a storm is coming.
Okay, so now I might come back in with my paper towel and explore what I can do with lightening some values in the sky just with wiping away. So. And that, I might then find certain clouds that I would like to have stay closer to the viewer, like this blue area here. I almost would like to have closer, I think, as a shape to balance. So I think what I'm doing is this shape here is now being balanced by this shape here. It's a counterbalance. Oh, I just left fingerprints, which I find to be interesting. I do a lot of stepping away, and I'm not doing as much of that.
Hard to do that in this environment. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do encourage that very much. I think that there's nothing like walking away from your canvas to see what's going on, and the potential, where things might not be working. The other thing I do, like I said, is take time to, if I get to a stopping point and I'm thinking, well, I'm not quite sure, where I want to go now with this, I'll let it sit in the living room on the mantle, just, so I'm glancing at it every now and then. My poor mantle, I need to repaint it, but it's a good way to sort of get perspective. Another thing is to take a photograph of your work to see, and then all of a sudden you're seeing it from a way that you haven't before, and you can see errors in what you might be doing. I could put a structure in the background. Or not, but might, I kind of like the idea of popping maybe very subtly a structure here, a house, or I guess, ultimately it could be a focal point there. And I'm thinking about the direction of the lines that I've already created and how having a focal point there would draw the eye in. So let me see. I'll go for a smaller brush just to show. I'm not sure how much time, but there again, I think it's almost better, you know, with the style of painting that I'm doing, not to get too fussy with my focal point. I like to leave it sort of like if somebody's standing back 10 feet, they would definitely say, okay, there's the house. But if they get close, well, that's just a blob of white paint. And I think that's part of the magic of stepping back frequently from your work, is you can then create the idea of things without getting too wrapped up into details. And that, for some reason, appeals to me.
Makes sense. I like the sounds of the brush on the board.
Yeah. And you know how when it's maybe, you know, there's these storm clouds and you have a bit of rain coming down, you know, that I like to express too.
Right.
But, you know, this is fun because I really didn't know where I was going with this. And
no, but it's cool. It's really been fun to watch this develop.
Uh-huh. And I think I'm thinking more of the fall type of look for the marsh right now.
Yeah. And you get a little of that Indian yellow in there. That'd be fun.
Yes.
So you said you're obsessed with Indian yellow lately. What's that all about?
You know, I find that it makes such beautiful deep greens.
Really?
Yeah, I love, especially if you add a touch of, well, obviously ultramarine blue, the Indian yellow, and a little bit of cad red light is what I've been doing with that. But, yeah, so this might bring it alive a bit by adding touches of green. And this was created using Indian yellow, ultramarine,
And cad red.
Yeah, yeah.
Yummy.
And here again, you know, if you're using Indian yellow, that's a warmer color, and so you definitely want to cool it and lighten it as it recedes in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even go for, you know, reducing the yellow quite a great deal and going for a cooler yellow, and then to, you know, a grade down version and almost reducing it entirely.
So maybe this would be a really good time, since we're kind of slim on time. Maybe this would be a time to kind of show how you would make color recede, because you talked about that.
Right.
Would you be willing to do that?
Sure.
All right.
So let me
not to mess with your painting, but I think
no,
I think, you know, you've been talking about it. I think there are people watching who are like, what the heck in the world is she talking about?
Right. Well, you know, I think that is important, and so, and I don't mind. And this is not, you know, this is not precious. My painting is not precious, and I can show you that. So this, let me do something really warm.
All right.
And it's dark because you can lighten on top of that, but this is a very warm. There's quite a bit of ultramarine blue in it, and cad red light, and then of course the Indian yellow there. And let's see, I can vary that shade a little bit. Okay, so that might be, you know, the foreground area there, the warm, okay. And then as it recedes, you are going, I'm going to switch back brushes to a bigger brush here. So it's lightening. And cooling a bit. And of course, you know, sometimes when you first put down the brush, you may not have the right shade or the right value. But you know, and I think that might be a bit light.
I was wondering if it maybe was too dark because if you were trying to match the value of what was under it.
You think this is too dark?
Well, I wondered if you were trying to match the light value that you were laying over it, or if that was just a placeholder. So no, I don't think it's too dark.
Okay.
I just
yeah. So this might be a mid. You're getting cooler. And of course, blending, you want to blend you want to have some blending going on. In fact, this is when I employ my paper towel again, or, you know, you're blending together. So you can see that recession a bit. Of course, we're going to spring now with my color palette.
It's all right.
And then I'm cooling it and graying it, adding more white. And then that's going to push it back further.
And you also lowered the value, or made it a lighter value.
Good, yeah. Yeah. And, you know, a mistake I think that often people make is that they don't realize the size of the foreground versus the distant atmospheric background. And oftentimes that foreground can be, you know, can go up quite high until you hit your midground, which could be a narrow swath. And then to your more distant horizon line is actually more in a narrow spot, I find, than your foreground, which can take up quite a bit of that space.
Cool. Well, we're down to about our last 3 minutes.
Okay. You know, part of what I love about being able to come into the studio and just sort of start something and paint is that I can travel to this location now in my mind, which is you know, a wonderful thing to do during COVID. So I encourage everybody to, you know, think about where they might like to be. You know, where would you like to travel to, and give it a go. Travel to that place. You want to go to France, you know, paint France.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah.
I want to be there. That's beautiful. It's really nice.
You're going to be in France.
No, I want to be there where you.
Oh, you want to be here?
Yeah,
well, come on down to Maryland. Come to the eastern shore of Maryland.
All right. Well,
actually, come to Plein Air Easton next time they have it.
I've been invited. At some point, I'll do it.
Yeah, they would love to have you, I'm sure.
It's always in conflict with something else that I have going on in my life. So,
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So now you're going to put down the brush.
Okay.
You're going to come back on camera.
Okay.
Good. So you wanted to show us your studio for a second. You want to just give us a quick overview?
I'll show you certain parts, not everything, because some parts I'd rather not share.
Yeah, I get it. All
Eric,
right.
I'm a messy painter. Okay, let me.
That's lovely, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That was fun. Okay. Am I facing it the right way? Are you seeing?
Yeah, we're seeing some paintings.
Okay, so
I know you can't see what's going on.
Yeah. So this is
You're a little close. You're a little close.
Oh, I'm a little close. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I'm a director here.
Yeah. Can you see now?
Yeah, we see the top two paintings.
Okay, so so the top one with the big blue sky, that's Texas, and that's near San Angelo, painted during Plein Air, Texas. And that was it was a gorgeous day, and of course I went for the expansive view. And then let's see. course, I like my gray skies too. And I don't know what you can see, but this is
Yep, we can see it.
okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
All
this
right.
is sort of a stormy atmosphere. And again, the clouds. This is the ocean, obviously, with a
Yeah.
storm cloud coming above.
Nice.
Kim Vanderhoek and I have been focusing on from above paintings for about 2 years for a show.
Oh, you have a book out. That's right. I'll
Yeah.
show that book real quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the book is called From Above,
Mhm.
featuring artwork by Jill Basham and Kim Vanderhoek.
Yes,
And they can find that book at your website, I assume.
that's correct. Yeah.
And let me just pull that up real quickly. So I've got it on here. Website is jillbasham.com, and you can add the books/books to the end of it.
Right.
All right.
Thank
Jill,
you.
this has been fabulous. Thank you so much for giving us a little slice of your life and for being so bold to experiment today. You did a beautiful job.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yeah. If you end up finishing that, people would love to see it posted in the comment section once you're all done.
Okay.
Well, listen, I hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we're honored that you would be a part of this, whatever the name of the show is. I guess after 273 days, we probably ought to give it a name. What do you think it should be? What should it be?
Well, I thought it was called Facebook Live.
Well, that's Facebook Live is kind of a generic term in the sense that, you know,
it's called Flying by the Seat of Your Pants.
Flying by the seat of your pants. I like that. Well, thank you, Jill.
Oh, thank you, Eric.
All right. Everybody go to jillbasham.com and then check out jillbasham.com/books.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, Jill. Well, this is always fun. She's brave and she did a beautiful job experimenting. Our guest was Jill Basham. Want to just remind you guys that, you know, it's 2020. And so everything's crazy. All I can say is it's 2020. I don't know what we're going to say about 2021. Let's hope we don't have all the craziness. Anyway, want you guys to have a really wonderful Christmas. I know a lot of you are staying home this year. We are normally traveling. And so just have a really terrific time. I'll be here Christmas Eve. As a matter of fact, Christmas Eve, I will have a really interesting guest, which is Vincent Crotty. Now, what you're seeing here is just a teaser of what's really going to be there. And I can't really tell you more, but I will tell you that it's what you're going to see is highly experimental. And if I tell you, it'll blow the surprise. But what I'm trying to do lately, if you've noticed a theme here, is I'm trying to get you guys outside of the box a little bit and trying to experiment, try some new things. Don't do everything the same way all the time. So Vincent Crotty, who I met at one of our events, is going to be on tomorrow, and I'll be on here on Christmas Day as well. Got to be home anyway, right? Not anything going on other than, you know, we'll get up in the morning and, well, you know, the kids like to sleep late, so we'll probably open gifts about 5 o'clock in the afternoon instead of 5 o'clock in the morning like the old days. Anyway, you guys want to remind you that Watercolor Live is coming up, and it is a phenomenal event. Let me just play this short clip.
Join the world for Watercolor Live, the ultimate watercolor learning event, January 27th to 30th. 4 days of online art lessons from top master watercolor artists from around the globe. Learn to paint nature, people, cityscapes, flowers, and more. Become a better artist. Click the link to learn more and get our free ebook, 101 Watercolor Secrets from the Top Masters.
And watercolor is something I'm going to experiment with and get to know because I think it's important for me to know. Today at 3 p.m., Thomas Jefferson Kits and Soroya. Woo! What a great video. This is a very in-depth video. You're going to get a piece of it today, get a discount on it today, and get to see how he crafts part of this painting. So that's going to be really wonderful. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Happy everything. Happy holidays. And we will see you tomorrow. I'm Eric Rhoads.